Hello everyone, this is Toy Reaper here, and I'm here to show you a small tutorial on a infinitely expandable melon and pumpkin farm. Was messing around with this morning and found a method that works. As you can see right now, I've got melons on one side, pumpkins on another, and I've just got two rows growing into one because if you've played on Bedrock for any amount of time, you know that they grow fairly slowly. You don't have to do it this way, but I just like it because that way you're not building multiple flying machines. It's helping with lag, less that can go wrong, and should have faster growth rates because you've got twice the chance of a melon growing here, a pumpkin growing there. But let me just get into how it works first. As you can see, it's just a flying machine that's going to go back and forth. We've got these pistons here with a slab. As it goes along, every time it's going to push the slab down, breaking the melon or pumpkin. Let me just go ahead and show you how it goes here. Alright, so this is what we're looking at here, and now I will just get into showing you how to make it. Alright, so I don't have exact numbers on the supplies just because it's going to completely depend on how big you want the farm to be, but these are the items that you're going to need. But let's just get started, and today I'm not going to be going over an item collection because if you want a separate video on that, I'll be happy to do it. But for this, all I would do is just have a hopper minecart going underneath all of it. You can put slabs in the water here. And then if you have a hopper minecart just going up underneath all of these rows, any items that are on top of these blocks are going to get picked up. And now that you're able to waterlog slabs, anything that's sitting here, if it's sitting on top of the slab, since it's still going to be in this block, if you have a hopper minecart that goes underneath it, it will pick those up as well. So if you want a video on that, just let me know down in the comments and I will work on that separately. But today, let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off our water. And this is going, like I said, it's just going to depend on how big you want it to be. So just fill this up with water. Now on one side of this, you can either do melons on one side, pumpkins on the other, or you can do all melons. It's completely up to you. What we're going to do is we're going to do a row there, a row there, and now anywhere else that they can grow, you're going to want to put some sort of block just so they won't grow in that direction. It can be any kind of block you want. But then now just go through here, plant your seeds. And then on the other side, it's going to be a little bit different because of the design of the flying machine. So you're going to have one block next to the water and then your row of seeds. So we're going to go to the third block, and that's going to be where your actual melons and pumpkins are growing. So let's go over here. Let's put us a row of blocks right there. And then right here is where this first row of seeds are going to go. And here is the second row. Same thing, put blocks around the outside so they don't grow where you don't want them to be. And then just plant your seeds again. Alright, now your next part is going to be actually building the flying machine. You are going to need 2 pieces of obsidian just so you can have something to stop the flying machines on both ends. As I was going back and editing this clip, I did notice I left out a pretty important bit of information. Whenever you go to place this obsidian, you do want it on the third block up, but also on the side of the farm where you're adding this extra row of grass that I told you about. This side is right next to the water and it matches up on this one as well, whichever one. But you want the obsidian to line up with that row of blocks, so whenever you go to place the obsidian, go here, however far back you want it to be, to make sure that it starts off by breaking the first melons and pumpkins, unlike what I did over here on the first one. You know, being from the future, the tutorial's finished, I did make this one correctly. But you do want the obsidian to line up with that, so whenever you go to place it, just go here, and then you're going to place it on the third block up. Now you are going to want to have your obsidian on the third block up, just right there. So now we're going to have a slime block with a sticky piston facing this way. And then we're just going to wrap this around to the side of it and then come out 1, 2, 3. Now right here we're going to have the observer facing into the piston. We're going to have a sticky piston facing straight down with a slab underneath it, and then another observer facing into that piston. Now behind this slab you're going to go ahead and put one more slime block, and that's just going to keep that slab in place right there because it's stuck with the sticky piston, with the slime block there. So either way it's going, it'll still stay underneath the sticky piston. Now for the other side, we're basically just going to copy the same design. Make sure you have a slime block in front of the sticky piston. This is going to be your actual what's making it go forward and backwards. So have that set up, and then bring the slime block to there, and then come out 1, 2, 3. Now the same thing, you have an observer going into that piston. We're going to have sticky piston here, slab, slime block right next to it, and then now just one more observer there. Now your flying machine now is completely built up. So what you're going to want to do is come along the other end. Your obsidian should be lined up with this row right here. But come down to the other end, come out a few blocks, 1, 2, 3. Now this is what's going to actually stop it. So now that you have this, you can go ahead and give it your first run. Whichever side has the piston closest to your obsidian is the side that's going to actually start the flying machine. So anyway you want to update this observer right here, just go ahead and do that. And as you can see, flying machine's going along. That's what there is actually what's going to be breaking your melons and pumpkins. Alright, it looks like that is functioning very well. So now what you can do is you can either wait, let all these grow up, bone mill them, however you want to do that. But then however you want to actually activate your flying machine is completely up to you. I will say I wouldn't have them going off too often, just because of the fact that it is bedrock. They do grow extremely slowly. You're going to have your flying machine flying a lot when it doesn't need to be if you have it set up going off fairly often. Honestly, what I would recommend is like what I have over here is just have it set up with buttons. That way just you don't have to worry about it going off while you're going to the nether or leaving your base, or you know, if you come over here and you see, hey, a whole bunch of these melons and pumpkins are growing up, let me just go ahead and send this thing off. There you go. All these are getting broken. You could wire this redstone up to your minecart to make it send off whenever this is going. That part is completely up to you. If you would like a separate video on some different methods of that, that is perfectly fine. But let's just go ahead and get it set up like that for now. It's just simple. You're just going to want to skip a block here. Get you a regular piston set up. I got rid of mine, but get you a regular piston, any kind of button here, set that up, button on the back. Let's go ahead and send that off. Once it gets down here to the other end, we'll do the same setup on the other side, and that is going to be your whole farm completed. Alright, so now on the other end here, we're going to do the same thing. Skip a block in between it, put a piston there with a button on the back of it. Now, honestly, if you wanted to have a separate place to stand, you could wire both of these pistons up to the same button, because if this one's going off at the same time, right now it's not going to do anything because it's not over here, and it's going to be retracted by the time that it gets here. But for now, rather than bone milling this and wait, I'm just going to go ahead and raise the tick speed up just to show you what we've got going on here. So let's go ahead and raise this up just for a second. You'll see all of them start growing. We're gonna have melons here in no time. Boom, all the melons are there. So let's go ahead and get that set back down. Alright, so now that we have that, you've been waiting, you've got all your melons growing, you're ready for this thing to go off, you've got your item collection put up underneath it. Or even if you just wanted to walk through here and manually pick them up if you weren't wanting to use all the iron, I mean, it's completely up to you. And you can have this thing go off for as long as you want to, as long as it's still in loaded chunks, so you could get more melons than you would ever need in one go of this thing. But let's just go ahead, press this button. As it goes along, you're going to see the slab getting pushed down, breaking the melons every time that it goes through. Walk right here behind it and pick these up. As I said, you know, it's not going to be complicated. Just put a minecart with a hopper just going up and down every row underneath here, and it will collect them as it goes by. And if you wanted to set your person up AFK, just put this on some kind of a clock to where it's going to go off every few minutes. And this is your melon and pumpkin farm all set up and ready to go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more tutorials like this, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to be one of the first to know about it. And if you have any requests on any specific farms, please leave sure to leave it down in the comments section. But I hope you enjoy your melon and pumpkin farm. If you have any issues or questions, just leave a comment down below. But that's going to be all for today, so goodbye.